If you hang out with the far right, you are not a feminist because the far right is anti-feminist. And if you're against rights for trans women, you're also not a feminist, since feminism is a subset of human rights focused on the rights of all women, as far as I'm concerned. And of course, as a San Franciscan, I lived my whole life in a city full of queer and trans and non-binary people, and all the fantasies about if we respect them, if we acknowledge them, if they're treated as people with rights, something terrible will happen. Well, I've been in San Francisco for 45 years, and does not seem to be the case. People who call themselves feminists and focus on attacking trans women are not a big part of feminism in the United States, even though they are in parts of Europe. Mm-hmm. As for the male backlash, one thing, speaking as somebody now stuck in the Silicon Valley that ate my city, is it's very much been created by the internet to a large extent. And, I think by ideas spread in the most hateful pornography by influencers like Andrew Tate, and then supported by people like Elon Musk. And that's one way the internet has really become a servant of the far right agenda. Feminists and human rights activists and other people can use it, but the internet was created by a certain kind of white man, and in a funny way, it turns out they're the most vulnerable to it because it is designed to serve them, work for them. So we do have this backlash that's very visible and deserves attention. At the same time, I can say, I think a lot of men in everyday life see women and men see equality in a completely different way than they would have 20 or let alone 50 years ago. I think feminism has actually changed a lot of men, and who are now used to women being co-workers, equals, might even expect to raise their own children and do something around the house, not boss their wives or girlfriends or women co-workers around, not patronize them, to understand consent around sex and other activities. I think it is pushback against feminism, but often the backlash is a sign that something has actually been very powerful and impactful. And the internet is a tool that can be used in many ways, I completely agree, but it's owned by powerful, men who have become the richest men in the world, who have decided to use it or to let it be used in specific ways. And you can see that Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, to name three of the richest and most powerful, are themselves in a way caught up in these ideas of toxic masculinity. And I don't know exactly what the solution is, but one of the things worth saying is that these ideas about masculinity seem to be making men angry, unhappy, miserable, and alienating them from women. Even as they insist that women must be subservient, must provide sex to them because it's their right, it's making them fail to relate to and understand women. All of what Trump is doing, all of what the current far right is doing is a backlash. They're saying human rights as feminism, as rights for gay and lesbian and trans people, for non-white people, for immigrants, and the rights of nature, climate action. They don't like how the world has changed over the past 50 or 60 years, and they want to change it back to the old world of radical inequality, a lack of regulation and protection of nature, etc. And you can see that in a funny way as saying, you all were very successful, you were very powerful, you changed the world a lot, we don't like it, we want to change it back. So they are definitely a backlash, and I think in some places, and certainly in a lot of the United States, what they're doing as the impact becomes clear is very unpopular.